Okay, so we're up to Siman Ayin Base. Din Neisei HaMitzvah Menachemim V'Melavim. Says the Mechaber, Neisei HaMitzvah, those people who are carrying the mitzvah, v'chilufeihen, and they take it in turns. There's like a team of people who do it, and not everyone is actually actively carrying it at any time. V'chilufeihen, and they have substitutes, and the substitutes are the substitutes. Bein oisim shein lifnei hamitzvah, whether those people are actually in front of the mitzvah, bein oisim shein lachareh, or those that are behind it, me'achar shel mitzvah l'tzorech poem, since they're all needed for the mitzvah of halavoyas hameis, Paturim, they are all exempt from Krias Shema. U'shah ha'melavin es hameis, and other people who are melavin the meis, she'ein lemitzah tzorech bohem chayovim. Then they are not exempt, they're going to be chayiv in Krias Shema. Says the Mishnah Berurah, so you've got an aleph chilufeihem, afal pi sheyeshehus lachreinim likra ba'ed shenosim harishonim, even though there may be time for the substitutes and for the other people who are not actively carrying the mitzvah now to be able to say Krias Shema. Afilu hachi paturim. Because sometimes the people carrying it need a break, and they pass on to these people, and therefore even the substitutes shouldn't be beginning Krias Shema because they might be needed, and therefore they'll be Osik b'mitzvah, partam na mitzvah. So you've got them beis bohem, kagayin be'ir sheyesh bo chabura hamazumenes lakach. You've got a chavra kadisha. You've got people who are dedicated for this. V'chol b'nei hachabura machlifin loseis lefi shekulam chafetzim nizkas b'eh. Everyone wants the mitzvah of carrying the mitzvah. Kulam paturim Krias Shema. All of those people therefore are exempt from Krias Shema lefi shehem terudim tirdas mitzvah. They're exempt because they're torud in the mitzvah of Levaya hameis. Va'afilu harachaykim me'amitzvah, even those people who are a bit further away from the mitzvah. When you haven't got a dedicated chavra kadisha to do this, hasmuchim lemitzvah paturim, those who are close to the coffin, the mitzvah, are potter. Lefi shederech lezakosam b'hamitzvah k'sheyakir al ha'noisim, because the derech is to be mechabed those people in the mitzvah to make it easier for the nosim. But those who are rochuk, from the mitzvah are chayiv. Chayovim b'Krias Shema. V'afal pisha Levaya hameis hu bichlal gimnas chasodim. Even though Levaya hameis is included in gimnas chasodim or gimnas chasodim in Torah. Yeah, Mikol Malcolm Heim Einem Truzim Klal, Yichol Nikras Pasuk Rishon, B'Makavona, of Amida V'Hashar Kashem Mahalchin. At the end of the day, you could say they're on equal levels because Krias Shema is a deraisa and Gemilas Chasodim is a deraisa, and therefore they should all be exempt. But since they've got the opportunity, it's Efshel L'Kaim Shnehem, and therefore they are exempt. They can stop for a moment and say the first pasuk. Ava Paturim and Tefillah, they are exempt from Tefillah, which is Drabon the Commission Kosov Simon Kuvov. Interesting in note 3, why he says you've got to stand still for the first pasuk. So he says Tam Hadov Kosov Leil She Pasuk Rishon Hu Ikka Krias Shema. The first pasuk of Krias Shema is the Ikka. Or Cheshu Mahalek En Yochel Lechavin. If your person is walking, you can't really concentrate properly. Or the Inyan Diavad Kosov Shem Kara Cheshu Mahalek Yotza. But Diavad, if you said Krias Shema when you're walking, you are Yotza B'Diavad. Okay, says the Mechaber Sif Beis. Ein Moitzinas Hameis Somach L'Krias Shema. One should not take out the mace if it's Somach L'Krias Shema. Given, she'ein shehu lahitzir lekavre kaidem she'agia zman Krias Shema, because if there's no time to deal with it, lekavre kaidem she'agia zman Krias Shema, because you should say Krias Shema and then deal with it. But if they already began the Levaya, they already began to take the mace out, ein mafsikin de likras. You don't stop reading the Krias Shema. So if it's Higia Zman Krias Shema, so then say Krias Shema and then do the Levaya. If you've already started the Levaya, then you don't have to stop. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Sif Katan Dalet, ein Motziin, ve'im kva Higia Zman Krias Shema, if it has already arrived at the Zman Krias Shema, yesh lahem lisach Zman, you've got to delay the time, she'uchel l'shai shekva hispalu revakal. You delay the time until most people have had the opportunity to daven and to say Krias Shema. And they also just make sure that those who are actually actively involved in the Levaya have already said Krias Shema and have davened, so they won't encounter problems. Es hameis, afilu odom choshev, even an odom choshev, there is nowadays we haven't got the status of an odom, no one's got the status of an odom choshev. Shagi azman, mistimas l'shena mashma, techein hadin b'Krias Shema shel arvis. The same is true regarding Krias Shema in the evening, or l'din hiskimu achreinim lahakel b'shel arvis, to be makil in Mariv. Because if you don't bury him now in the evening, there's a shaila of loy solin, of leaving a mace overnight. Even though you could technically bury the person at night time after you've davened Mariv and you've said Shema, I'll call upon him Yavar al mitzaseki kovertik brenner bayomahu. You're violating the problem of not burying him that day. If you don't do this the kvura before shkia in the afternoon, if it turns out that you delay the Levaya and it becomes nighttime, you just try and delay things so that the people can daven Mariv, they can say Krias Shema before that point. They begin to take him out. Even after that time. Ein mafsikin pirush ha'am hatzrichin loses hamitzvah. Once you started the Levaya, you don't stop. Afilu miyarva alidei zman Krias Shema. The kvuras meisim divad Torah. The kvura of a mace is a dvar Torah. Aval elu she'ein lamitzah tzorich bohem. But those people who are not actively involved in carrying the mitzvah, chayovim nikros, they are obligated to say Krias Shema tekef afal pi sheish adayin oichus straight away. Even though there may be time later, they should say Krias Shema straight away. Gimel. Ha'am ha'iskim behesped. Those people who are involved in the hesped, they're standing at the Levaya. Bizman sha'ameis mutal lifneihem. When the mace is mutal lifneihem, nishmotim echod ve'echod v'kerin mispalelin. One by one, they can slip away, and say Krias Shema. Ein ha'meis mutal lifneihem, but the mace is not there in front of them. There's just a hesped or whatever it may be. Heim kerin mispalin va'inin yoshev v'doimim. They say Krias Shema and they daven, and the Oinen just sits there and is silent. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Nishmotim, She'i efshe she'ikru kan etzel mace, because you can't daven Krias Shema, you can't say Krias Shema next to the mace, Mishum le'eg larosh, like we said yesterday. On Mispalin, they daven, v'harbe poskim cholkin usvir lehu, dehikilu le'inyan tefillah. The Mechaber said that if the mace is mutal lifneihem, nishmotim echod v'kerinu mispaladim, and he says in the Mishnah Berurah, you've got new that many poskim argue this is hu they kill in tefillin. Regarding tefillah we're mekel, but mace mutal lifneihem kiven shat tefillah hu drabonon, and therefore they should not slip away and daven Mariv. Krias Shema is deraisa, so that's different. V'nirin, it appears that in chazan hasabdon, the person who's officiating, who's giving the hesped, whatever it may be, yesh lismech lahakil b'zeh shelo yistorach lahafsik l'tefillah. He shouldn't be mafsik for tefillah because he's more involved. Ta'afilu in Krias Shema yesh omrim to who parts b'zeh, because there are those who say that even for Krias Shema he is exempt because he's oisik in the mitzvah of giving a hesped for the mace. I'm B'Torah Beis Yosef. V'doimim, but the oinen himself or herself, she just sits there quietly, or he sits there quietly. V'doimim does not say Krias Shema. Ve'ein oin achrem klum, and he does not respond after them. Mitam shenizbar b'siman ayin aleph. Okay, dalet. Kavroi es hameis v'chozru avelim lekabel tanchumim. They've now had the Levaya, and you come back and they do the shura. V'cholam holchim achareim, all the people come back. L'mokem hakever l'mokem she'imdim shom avelim lasus shura, to the place where they're going to do the shura. Lekabel tanchumim. Im yochayim ha'om lahaschil v'ligmar afilu pasuk echod kedim she'agiu l'shura yaschilu. If there is time when they've come back from the actual plot where they bury the person back to the Ohel or wherever it is in the cemetery in the Beis HaKvaros where they do the shura, there's time to say even one pasuk of Krias Shema, then great. Ve'im lav lo yaschilu, then they shouldn't begin. Says the Ramah, im yeshahus bayom likrus achakach. If there's time, so long as there's time to do it later. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Sifkat Yud Beis, yaschilu v'yikru kol ma sheyuchlu. You can do as much of Krias Shema as you can, because there are some who say that the chiv is the first pasuk, some say the first paragraph, and then we pasuk of course 3 paragraphs. So just do as much as you can. Yeshahus, that is avalim yav zman Krias Shema. But if the zman of Krias Shema is going to pass, Yikru Krias Shema tchila. They should say Krias Shema before the shura, because they haven't yet begun the mitzvah of tanchumim, and therefore the mitzvah of Krias Shema trumps. Okay, that's the end of Siman Ayin Beis. Okay, Sif Hey, ha'omdim bashur lenachma. If you're standing in the line, you know what I mean by the shura. The shura is the line where you're standing on the two sides, and the Avelim walk down the middle. If you're standing on the line to be Menachem, ha'pnimiyim sheroim pnei ovel. If you're right at the front and you can see the ovel, pturim, they're actively involved in the mitzvah, and therefore they're part of Krias Shema. V'hachitzonim she'inam roim pnei ovel chayovim. But the chitzonim, the people at the further back, they can't see the ovel, they are chayev to resay Krias Shema. Okay, we'll leave. That's the end of Siman Ayin Beis.